Started. We welcome all of you here. We're so glad you're here. We've had a great crowd. We had to bring more tables in. That's a good thing. So we're glad that many of you have come back today to honor our retirees. And Mr. White, if you would like to open us with prayer, and then we will start eating while the food is warm.
I've been retired 14 years, and I thought, well, maybe they've forgotten who I am. I have been asked to tell you that Donna White will be having a procedure in the morning, and I know that she would greatly appreciate your prayers for her. So it's always great to be back with you. And like I said, 14 years. I haven't missed one yet, so hopefully I'll be around for a few more. If you'll bow with me, we'll bless the food. Lord, we thank you for this beautiful day and the completion of another school year. We thank you, Lord, for the jobs that have been provided for those who are here and for the really hard work that they do. I know it is really, really hard work. Nobody knows unless you've been in this business how hard it is and what a task it is to educate children. So I pray your blessings on all the staff here and the wonderful work that they do and the blessing they are to these children. And I pray that these children and parents realize how fortunate they are to have this wonderful staff. We thank you for this food that you provided, and we ask that you would use it to nourish our bodies. And we ask this in your name. Amen.
Again, we welcome all of you here. Mr. Turpin said it best a minute ago. He said, I thought this would just be a few people. He said, this is a reunion. I said, yes, this is a homecoming. And we're a family, and we have reunions every year. And so I appreciate that all of you made the effort to come back. It's kind of neat for me because when I taught here, many of you that have come in that have retired several years ago, you were the ones teaching when I taught here several years ago. So it's really neat to see everybody. But we appreciate all of you being here to honor our retirees. And I'm going to let Mr. Cook start off with some remarks, and then we'll get started talking about our retirees.
Thank you, Ms. Lee. We do have these big bonus checks for our retirees, right? I'm sure you're expecting one, I'm sure. I just want to say, Superintendent, appreciate your service. How many years? Let's see here. What we got? Mona, how many years?
27 and a half.
27 and a half. Victoria, how many years?
A little less than 30.
30.
I've been here 30, but I'd like to be 30 for all
30. Yeah, let's see. Sharon, how many years?
14.
14. Rose, how many years? Where's Rose go? She's out there counting years. She had to take her shoes off. Oh, I'm just kidding. Rose is good with it. James, how many years? James, you retired?
Oh, I don't know.
Jamie Starks.
I don't think no, I did.
So, a lot of years here. 38 for me. I know I just finished 38. I know all of you going like, why aren't you retired? I don't know, but I need to be. Say that every year. My wife retired this year. She's in intensive care at the hospital right now. So, they always told me that there's only one big event left after retirement. That's what they always told me. And I'm going like, I'm kind of afraid to retire. But seriously, she is. But she's going to be fine. Anyway, I appreciate your service. The Teller County Schools. Wish you'd hang around till we get our new school. It'd be nice to have got to teach and work in our new school, but that's a year away. Maybe by that time all of you will be tired of retirement and bring me back again. What's that second job? Don't hold your breath. We have something from the board, don't we, for each of them? Can you give that to them for the... Yeah, just tell me.
Thank you.
Yeah, there's a specific one, so make sure you get your name.
Flip the card over.
Yeah. On the back of the card.
Oh, I'm the winner. Yay! Yeah, I'm Victoria, I'm trying to give yours away.
So it's not much from the board. We'd like to have a big old bonus check in that box, but it's not. Again, I appreciate your service and all you've done for Taylor County Schools. It's just a little small token of our appreciation. So, big hand for our retirees.
Okay, we're going to start by talking about Victoria Mason. She has a special guest, young guest, that has come today to read a poem that she wrote for Miss Mason.
Okay, this is Bo, and actually this is a poem that Miss Mason wrote for Bo. But Bo wanted to, she wants to read it for everyone today. And Miss Mason was a huge influence and so helpful for Bo and spent so much time with her. And so we are very honored to be able to be here and say thank you in this way. All right, Bo, can you read it for me?
I put it down. Okay, a very special girl. Okay. We are getting ready to plan tonight's graduation party for Barbie. She can't listen.
Let's stick to the script.
Let's stick to the script. Okay, a very special girl. For her first grade year of school, I'm so glad I got to know you. Bo, you are my motivation to be there. More than you'll ever know. If you brought a ray of bright sunshine every time you entered the class, even if it was a scheduled change, we always had a blast. Your amazing talents and intelligence was loved by all your peers. And I'm sure I want Skittles. I am sure they will never forget you. Throughout the coming years, we shared many fun times. Although you gave me some trouble. For you, Bo Ward, in years to come, there will never be a double. You always have a special aura that no one will ever mock. You always changed your attitude around the daily clock. You kept me on my feet even when my knees were hurting. And I will always remember the special phrases that you continuously kept blurting. Is 3 and 6 10? No, 3 and 6 is 9. That daily phrase say will never leave my mind. I hope that in the years to come, you will remember what I taught you. Although there are many things you did not want to do. I hope you will remember when you are older and later in life that although we have trying days, you do not cause me strife. At first I was afraid that you would not want me there, but at the moment we connected, I knew it would be a great year. Can I use the potty?
We're going to skip to the end.
No, I want to read this part. You are a sweet little princess or without a castle. And I just want you to know that you are never wear a hassle. I've been a special education teacher for over 28 years, but you seem to be the unique one who, when you left me, brought many tears. I never met a little girl. Oh, so much personality. You are a little genius, and that is definitely a reality. I hope that in the very back of your busy mind, I hope that you will not forget the bond we shared. That was definitely one of a kind. I wish the best of you in whatever you choose to do. Because your destined future will be left entirely up to you. You have two such great parents who want to be the best for you. So always make them proud of you, whatever you want to do. You only have the ultimate potion, ultimate potential to be whatever you want to be. The only thing I ask is that you will never forget me.
She won. Go to her head. Thank you all.
I can't even begin to vote on that. Miss Victoria, I think you're going to be publishing some poetry in your retirement days. That was awesome, and Bo is used So while I love Sharon dearly, and she's a great asset to our district, I do want to recognize and say thank you, Sharon, for that. But I do want to recognize the other three individuals for their tireless love, dedication, and support to the ECE program and students with special needs. It wasn't until Debbie collected the years of experience that I realized how much is actually going out the door with these fine ladies in many ways. They have been mentors. All three have been mentors to everyone that has gotten to know them and spent time with them. And there's loving on kids, there's teaching kids, there's motivating kids, there's encouraging kids, and they have it. They connected Rose, Victoria, Mona, connected with kids in a way that we could all learn so much from. And Miss Mona Malone has served the program, served students with special needs since 1992. So from 1992 to 2014. Miss Rose Gribbins. Rose, I don't know how many years you served in the ECE program, and it didn't really matter to me. All I knew is that it says from 1990 to 2014 is your retirement. I know the last little while, due to health concerns, you served, worked in food service, but we never let you leave our hearts, and I know you never left the hearts of the students. Driving the bus and working with students for all those years, so that's Rose's many years of service. And Miss Victoria Mason from 1984 to 2014. So with that, I commend Rose for her many years of working with students with special needs. One of the things about Rose was she would drive the bus for our students, but then you would catch her working overtime, undocumented, so that she could take them on field trips or spend time with them or eat lunch with them or just do anything that they absolutely wanted her to do for until and how many hours a week that like I said, she got caught sometimes, but what do you say to that, right? So Rose, we certainly appreciate your service. Miss Victoria, and the number of conversations that we have had over kids that she was really worried about and really concerned about. You know, one time in particular stands out for me, and that's the time that I was standing in my office at 6 o'clock one night, and the phone rings, and it's Victoria. And she has a student on her heart and in her mind, and she's worried sick about this student. So before I could get out of my office, I called social services, the connections that I had. I called back to Victoria. We talked on and on about that. But that wasn't the only time that that's ever happened. That conversation happened many times with Victoria and the many students that she taught, that she worked with. And I know that we're losing many years of experience and connections and working with kids there. So I appreciate your service for that, Miss Victoria. I appreciate your time. And Miss Mona Malone, you know, when kids, this last year we made a transition with Miss Mona for teaching. Prior to that, kids didn't go to reading intervention. They simply went to Mona. You know, where do you go, Mona? Oh, well, on their IEPs, we'd been in an art meeting, and they would just want to recommend that they go to Mona. I was like, well, what, does she have a wand? I mean, what is she doing in there? But it got really funny because it was always just about going to Mona. And we appreciate your service, Miss Mona Malone, and thanks for all you've done. And I just appreciate the opportunity to be able to speak on their behalf because we're going to miss them. And we got a little something from the district DCE. I'll say it that way because I know the school does things too. So we got a little something from district DCE for you guys. And actually, I'll share with you that when you open it, it was something that was made at our own T-Sign Academy at the high school. They do lots of things through their school-based enterprises, and we actually commissioned them to help with their retirement gifts. So if you get a chance to look at them, students did it. So hopefully that's going to be all the more memorable for you. Thanks.
She's our star polisher with our department. And I just want to thank you so much for your time with me. like to talk, so I have a lot of questions, but she saw me through all my questions and helped me become a better instructor for our students, and I got to gain so much knowledge from her and from Vicki this year as well, sharing that room with her this year, just to help along. And I know that we can lean on you all for any kind of information we need, any help we need, both with our students and in life as well. So I just want to thank you all so much for our time together. And
Sharon started here as a sub in 1997 as a bus monitor, and part of the time she worked in the cafeteria. And for 14 years she's worked as custodian and cafeteria for us, and I wondered sometimes why she didn't need earplugs as loud as our cafeteria gets sometimes. In September of 2005, she came to work in the library to help me keep it clean after Don Crabtree retired. Diane Garrett and Michelle Sapp told me to say, Miss Goody Two Shoes. Sharon is a sister, a wife, a mother, a grandmother, an aunt, and a very dear friend of mine. She's a hard worker. She's listened to me moan and groan and been a very good confidant to me. She's a good listener, and she is a terrific Christian lady. She's easy to talk to, and she's loved every child in this building. She's very caring and helpful. She would always go beyond and above her duties. She was always willing to help anyone. She would never say, I can't do this, even though lots of times she should have. And there's been times we'd say to her, don't do that, you'll hurt your shoulder again. Would she listen? No. She would tell me, but it's my job. And I would say, you've helped everyone else do everything that was part of their job, so now it's time for you to let them help you. But no, she's a little hard-headed. What I miss most about Sharon every day is her friendship. Each morning we had lots of good talks when she'd come in to clean, sharing our good times and our bad. I know I kept her from finishing cleaning the library lots of times as quickly as she would like to, because we'd be sharing and discussing how our day or week was going or how our families were doing. We've cried together about things that were going on in our lives. One day I'll never forget, she made a special trip in during lunch when they're so busy in here, because she realized I needed a hug. The last year and a half for Henry and I have been hard, and Sharon has listened and gave me lots of support in those rough times with the family illnesses that Henry's brothers were going through. Christian love is very evident in her life. She is and always will be a special friend to me. I have a poem I want to share with you. Pardon me, I wasn't going to do this, but I knew as soon as I got up here and said Sharon's name, that's what I'd start. Tears would flow. This poem is by B. Williams. A friend in need is a friend indeed. And I think this poem expresses what Sharon is. Friends are far, friends are near. Friends will be there to lend an ear. They listen, laugh, and care. But most of all, they're always there. Through thick and thin, up and down, your true friends are always around. For treats, hugs, and real big smiles, they'll travel to you from several miles. They'll always be there to hold you tight anytime, no matter if it's day or night. You really know when your friends are sincere, when they always show up to lend their ear. I have a pot of impatience over here on this table for you, Sharon. And they require lots of shade, as you know, to live. And as you're enjoying your summer and the years ahead, I want you to sit that pot of impatience under a tree and sit down there with them under the shade of that tree and enjoy their beauty and your family, and know that you're missed here at TCES. I love you.
I'm going to take Rose down a trip of memory lane. Rose and I have been around together for about 26 years. Another 26 years I've been blessed to know Rose and what she does, to have Rose as a sister and who she is, because I've always called her a sister. But there's something special about all of these before I finish with Rose. Do you know what the snail said once it got on top of a moving turtle? Whee! So for these who are retiring, they have climbed up on the turtle of the back of life, okay? So now they can actually go, whee! That's okay, that's okay, that's okay. There is a book, and I was told I can't recite something out of scripture, but I'm going to. And it comes out of Proverbs chapter 10, verse 7. And it says, the blessings of the righteous are memories. Rose has been a blessing of a memory. Now you say, well, what's so big about the word righteous? Righteous in and of itself is not a good thing. Righteous is a consistency in action. Her actions are always consistent. About 20 years ago, there was a practical joke to be played down at Dairy Mart. And I was part of that practical joke. Rose was asking me what I was going to do. And I told her. So, what it was, I was supposed to give somebody a first thought. I told Rose I was going to moon somebody. Rose couldn't wait. Rose, when she found out that time and day that I was going to do this, almost killed Dickie Nunn to get down there to see her. Dickie Nunn told me that himself. I didn't know that, Rose. So I come up with this big story about the store clerk there at Dairy Mart, and sometimes things happen. I do wear a belt now, but a lot of times I didn't. So I told this story, and sure enough, Rose was right in the middle of it. So Rose, I hope that I've been a memory to you. Okay? I only hope it's been a good memory, because not very often will you ever see a vertical smile, okay? So it's okay. It's all right, Coach. When his day comes, I got one for him too. But it's really been a blessing. And Rose, I apologize, I don't have no lavishing gift, but I have something of sentimental value for you. A lot of times I always tell people, have you been affirmed lately? Have you really been appreciated and been affirmed? He has. Boss man has. So Rose, if you'll stand, please. You understand that the word affirmed means the appreciation and acknowledgement of who you are, right? Mm-hmm. Well.
I thought I was going to get to avoid this since Mr. Lackey showed up, and I can't follow that at all. So we'll go a totally different direction. to talk to Rose, but since I've worked with all of you and had interactions with most, so I'm going to start down here at the end with Miss Sharon. I started out, thanks to Judy Doors, when I first started here. She started subbing me every chance she could get. So I got to work, and so finally I became part of the TCES family. And as it went along, people didn't know how to take me and everything. Was I serious, or was I cut up, or whatever? Well, soon they figured it out. Well, Miss Sharon, her sister Diane, they took me in. And Miss Sharon, she was the good angel on my shoulder. You're not saying that Diane was the but when she saw me getting upset or letting things bother me, she said, don't get upset, it's not worth it. Just be who you are. And with her being who she was, we can see how many loved her, and the kids loved her too. And saying to Miss Sharon, we'll miss you, but you have my number, so you know where to call. And Miss Mona, we had interactions, in passing we talked, but it was just a couple of days ago. Mona and I were in here at breakfast. I clean up at breakfast and I interact with my kids, preschool kids. She walked up to me and she looked at me and she said, I always wanted to say this to you. And I guess this is the time to say it. She goes, you have a way with the kids. And you were meant to do this. And I could look at her and say, Miss Mona, those words apply to you too. Because that's how I knew. I never knew what her last name was. I just knew her as Miss Mona. And then as they came on, so Miss Mona, I hope you really do enjoy your retirement. And I know you will miss the kids and the kids will miss you. But in saying that, you have done a great job for them to miss you. Because there's a lot of people that leave a job that people don't even care about them gone. So thank you. And Victoria. What else can I say but Victoria? And I have a case of those, for you. No alcoholic beverages, no. It's a fruit cup that she loves so much. But I hope you enjoy your retirement and your health stays well, and you will always be in my memories. Rosa Carroll. Me and Rose, we had known each other through summer program, and I was her monitor on for Adonta kids and everything. And at first, Rose didn't know how to take me. But then she finally learned, and then it so happened that she became able to work with me. Little did she know, but I think it turned out to where Rose, it was, some people say things happen for a reason. God brings people into your life. Rose was brought into my life and taken away short. It was short, but we had a great time. But she's still here to enjoy this moment because so many are not. Rose gave her life to this school. She loved the kids. Not the word love, she physically loved these kids. She took it home with her. We had many talks of things bothered. We worried about them on the weekends, over the summer programs, when it was over. We talked. We went in many circles, as one of our students said. There's a story behind that. We took different routes to see if we could get the kids home quicker because of the heat in the summertime. And we had one little fella, he was talkative. And he never looked up or anything. He looked over and he said, Mr. Kelly, Miss Rose has got us going in circles. So after that day, we went our regular route because it wasn't short for him. But Rose, you had your health problems. I'm glad you're doing better. And I hope you keep doing well. God protects those who believe in Him. All seriously, I hope you enjoy your retirement. And you have my number too. God bless you. And some others that wasn't recognized, not Mike Brown, but my father-in-law, James Lawson, he retired this year. Not wanting to, but health reasons he had to. A lot of people don't know I had a father, of course I did, but I didn't have a father growing up. When I met my father-in-law, he changed me. He was there for me. He taught me things. He's still teaching me things. He was almost taken away from me. He laid 15 hours on the table during surgery. We didn't think he was going to make it. So I did what the only thing I needed to do. I asked God if it was His will to give me a little more time to learn things. If anybody knows James Lawson, he has the most patience of anybody. Well, he's married to Melissa Lawson. Laugh and stuff, but I don't mean that bad at all. But patience isn't one of her strengths. And she passed it on to her daughter too. So I had to keep James around a little while longer to teach him how to have that patience. But for all of you, I just like to say thank you for treating my family, my TES family, as your family. And God bless you all.
Gifts over here, but there's one in particular that is from Charlotte County Elementary School for each of you, and they're going to pass those out for you. There are also some other gifts over there, and I don't know if some of you want to deliver those to them, or so make sure that you look over there, because I think there's several other with several of your names, but those are from the Charlotte County Elementary family. We'd like to give you a chance to speak if you would like to. So if any of you would like to speak and say anything, we'd be glad for you to.
I can't believe 18 years has come to an end. From the first ARC meeting when you and Rita shared glasses, I knew you were a lady from this special class. You've weathered many ups and downs through the years. Most times there was laughter, at times there were tears. You're a stickler for detail. Oh, how that's true. Just ask Shelley and other K-tippers of all the hoops they jump through. I've learned many things from you over the years, how to show love for your students and love for your peers. Kindness, compassion, godliness too, are all things I've learned while working with you. As you leave TCES, it's all for the best. For all you have given, it's time for a rest.
I started working with Vicki in the basement hallway where we had temporary walls to make a resource room in 2000. And Vicki was on one end and me up by the handicap entrance. At that time, Sharon Beans was her assistant and Rosemary Begley was mine. Vicki and I had a lot in common from the very start because we both served students with developmentally delays, and both of us had difficulty getting around in the building due to knee injuries. So Sharon and Rosemary became our legs, among many other things, escorting the students from the regular classroom to us in the basement. Later, we moved out of the hallway and we shared a room with Troy Young. Then later, Rita Bohannon moved in with us. Miss Fran was Rita's assistant then, but when Rita moved out of the district, Miss Fran became Vicki's assistant. We all became a very close-knit family. Being in the same room with these people, we all became very close. And we had a temporary wall between us, so each of us knew what was going on the other side of the wall. When Vicki had a time getting Devontae out of the bed in the morning. Well, we heard about it. And when a student was making good progress toward an IEP goal, we knew about that too. Or when she had a new boyfriend or was hoping to get one. Vicky also knew what we were doing. When we were having a bad day, she'd tell us a new joke, and she had us all laughing until we cried. She was really a good therapist, and I really missed that when we started serving students in the regular classroom. Vicky was a really good teacher, and she showed love and concern for all of her students. She had a way of establishing a good relationship with her students, but like any good teacher, she had control of him, even if she had to threaten to get a whooping stick, which she never did. If a student had a need, she would take care of it, even if it was just a bad hair day. One day, a student had lint balls in his hair, and Vicky, she brushed them out, and she told him, she said, now you go down here to the dollar store, and you get you some hair grease to keep that hair from being so natty. That's when I learned what natty hair was. Vicky was very helpful to me too. She was my computer teacher. When I had a computer problem, I usually went to her first, and if she couldn't help me, then I had to go to Jerry Williams. If I needed a binder, she'd say, I bet Miss Sublett has just what you need. She'd call up there to Miss Sublett, and sure enough, she did. Vicky usually had an answer to any question I had, or if she didn't, she would call until she found out. Rosemary, Vicky, Fran, and I, we formed a relationship, a friendship that's going to last forever. Since I've retired, I've missed being able to see them, but we had a lot of wonderful times that I'll never forget. I love retirement, and Vicky, I hope you find much happiness in retirement too. And I hope that someday you will find your friends and live happily ever after. Vicky, you've been our queen for many years, but we want to make it official today. We're going to crown you. We're going to trade it in for a magic wand for you, so you can just wave it and get whatever your heart desires. And should your magic wand fail you and don't work, or your friends might be late, we got you some chocolate. Well, I know that chocolate is a quick fix for about any problem. And I know how you love tomatoes. Until the garden tomatoes comes in, carpet tomatoes will just have to do Vicky, I want to leave you with this thought from Proverbs 36. In all thy ways acknowledge him, he shall direct thy paths. Vicky, my sister, I love you.
Okay, Victoria, you know, I only met you through my daughters when you had them in school. They would come home talking about Miss Mason, and I said, well, who is Miss Mason? So as I come along in the world, I met Miss Victoria Mason. She was a very understanding person. I could talk to her about anything. She would listen, and she would fuss at me too. But in all, she was good. But I want to tell you all today that Victoria is a phenomenal woman. She's an unusual or outstanding person. She's a pretty woman, one where her secrets lies. She's not cute or built to suit a fashion model size. But when she starts to tell them they think she's telling lies, she'll say, it's in the reach of my arms, the span of my hips, the stride of my steps, and the curl of my lips. I'm a woman. Phenomenal woman. That's me. She walks into a room just as cool as she please, and to a man, the fellows stand or fall down on their knees. Then they swarm around her, a hive of honeybees. She'll say, it's the fire in my eyes, the flash of my teeth, the swing of my wrist, and the joy in my feet. I'm a woman, phenomenal woman. That's her. Men themselves have wondered what they see in her. They try so much, but they can't touch her inner mystery. When she tries to show them, they say they still can't see. She'll say, it's in the arch of my back, the sun of my smile, the ride of my breast, and the grace of my style. I'm a woman, phenomenal woman. That's her. Now you understand why her head's not bowed. She don't shout or jump about, or have to talk real loud. When you see her passing, it ought to make you proud. She'll say, it's in the click of my heels, the bend of my hair, the palm of my hands, the need for my care. Cause I'm a woman, phenomenal woman. That's her. And she is a phenomenal woman. I mean, some of this stuff, you know, this is Maya Angelou's poem, and I've loved it all my life ever since I heard it. It was fitting for Victoria. I hope she appreciates it. She might not like some of the things that were in it, but I just love her to death, and she's gonna be missed. And these ladies that I returned with her, Miss Mona, she's always been there for me. I could go and talk to her. Miss Rose, you know, I could pick on her and pick on her little nephew here. And, and it's like Miss Mona's husband, you know, our kids are the same age. We have that in common. You know, and I feel like I need to be here retiring today. What do you say?
Well, I was asked to speak for my Victoria, but I'm going to say a little bit about Mona too. We have a lot in common, and we've taught on the same floor, and I was one of the ones that no matter when she knocked on my door and said, will you take a student to mainstream in, we did. So we've shared a lot of good times and bad times and been there for each other. So I feel like I'm losing another sister when I'm losing Mona. Now for Victoria. I met Victoria about 27 years ago when I was doing my student teaching with Rhonda Parker, and she was in a little cubby, and I mean a cubby. It had fake walls for sure, and she had, I think, 3 students then that she signed for. Well, then from there, it kind of just felt like she was part of our family because that was the same grade that Jessica, my oldest daughter, was in. So we went from 4th grade through graduation together and did prom together and chaperone dances. So I feel like she's just been a part of my family. And then as she came back, because she went, was it 3rd through 12th you went with them, or 4th through 12th? First. So after she graduated, she came back down here to the elementary to start all over again. We haven't let her go, but she's been something special to me. Have you got your little purse with you? Hold that up. Sometimes we go out and to the club. She said I couldn't say anything else but club. But that purse has been my demon. Because she loses it, she dumps it, she even steals other people's things and puts in it. And I told her the last time we went out with that purse, if she did not keep it on her wrist, I was stapling it to her chest. So she's been keeping up with that purse. And I know that her mom and dad and sister are here, and I'm glad, but they're really not her mom and dad. Mona Malone is her mother. One of her students came in one day when they were in the computer lab, and she said, where's your mama? And Victoria looked at her, and she said, my mama's in Richmond. She said, I don't know. Well, about that time, Mona came in. She said, well, there's your mama. And she said, she's not my mom. She said, she's Miss Mona. I guess when she would say Mona, she thought she was saying Mama. Victoria said, do we look alike? She said, yeah. So, this is just her adopted family. Mona and Victoria and even Rose. Rose and I have had some good times out back sometimes. you've meant so much to the students here at Taylor County Elementary and to the adults. And in my closing, I have one last thing. Victoria got a lot of fashion tips this year. And I don't want her to ever forget. This is Fashion Diva. Do you like the hair barrettes? That is a model from one of her students that wore her hair barrettes just like that all year. So and it has a bum knee too, Victoria. But just in case you forget, you have Fashion Diva to dress every morning. I love you guys, and good luck with your retirement. And maybe a few more years I'll be there too.
It's hard to say goodbye to them, but it won't be goodbye because I know so long. But you all have been so good to me. I mean, I went through a lot while I was here at this school, and you were there for me. I'll never forget the one card I got that said, "When life gives you lemons, you make lemonade." That's hard to do sometimes, but then your friends step up and they put that sugar in that lemonade and they help you stir it before you know life gets sweeter. And that's what happened to my life here at Taylor County. It's sweeter and sweeter. I'd like to thank my friends, the ladies that worked with me, those paraprofessionals who don't get paid enough money and they do exactly the same amount of work that I was doing. And God always sent me good Christian ladies to work with. I'd like to thank my mom. Mama, raise your hand. And my daddy, who's looking now. They had a vision for me to go to school. They wanted me to go to college. Wanted me to be a secretary. I said, no. I don't know what I want to do. So I went to special ed. I never ever thought that God had called me into anything different. I felt like it was a calling. And I want to give him all the glory for that because he helped me every day. I get in my car in the morning, I drive to school, and that's what I do my praying. I'd say, help me face this one, or help me face that one. But I did it with, so I want to give him the glory for all that. For my girls who are here today, drove a long way to get here, and we spent a lot of time in the school building. After hours, you know, all your kids doing the same thing. I appreciate them. For my better half, they rescued me, my knight in shining armor. I owe a lot of people a lot of things. I just want to thank you for being there for me.
I'm telling them, how did you make it? I'm sitting here crying while you're talking. But I don't even know where to start. I've had a pleasure working here. It's been 30 years and it doesn't seem like it. But as my sister reminded me, her ex-husband was the one that drove me here for my interview back in '83 because my daddy was working and Mama wouldn't even tackle that drive. So I got hired in on half of a year, so I started in January that year. And I'll never forget walking in this building, and the first person that I worked with was Miss Gillespie, and she's here. Would you stand up, Miss Gillespie, please? So in the morning half of the day, I worked with my student, and in the afternoon, I went into her classroom. And that's what I did for the first year and a half I was here, and that's why I lost that year and a half toward my retirement, but I actually still have been here 30 years. But I've learned a lot of stuff from Miss Gillespie. She's a very organized teacher, very structured teacher, very intelligent person, and I learned a lot from her as well as all the other teachers here. And just like someone was saying earlier, most of the people that are here now weren't even here when I first started. So all these faces that I see coming back to visit, it's good to see all of you. And I'm glad that I've worked with each and every one of you. And even for those of you who may not know, I started here, stayed here 6.5 years, moved to the middle school, moved to the high school, then came back down here after 6 years of being away. So I feel like I've been around the block and back, and I feel like I've worked under numerous people, in which I have worked under about 15 principals, a couple superintendents, about 3 special ed directors. So I feel like I've been around the block and back, but I'm glad that I started here and finished here. And thank you for all the friendships and all the bonds that I've built with many of you.